Victory from poverty to victory. And all the down them with me. My family them with me. None of them not there on my level. Not even I know how I do it. I saw them stay a long time. They never want me great long time. But me say God and time, long time. Yeah, me say God and time, long time. I saw them stay a long time. They never want me great long time. But me say God and time, long time. Me say God and time, long time.
Oi, this is the gift.
He that did it.
From Cayman.
In the secret place of the Most High shall abide.
We private that 16 watts, not die.
See that. God and time.
I saw them stay a long time. They never want me great long time. But me say God and time, long time. Yeah, me say God and time, long time. I saw them stay a long time. They never want me great long time.
You are eyeless, hold up, ready, gracias. Be a man in our time, because you're right, I won't fight. I'm talking money, you're the one that's your mind. This is how you breathe, you gotta say. This is how you breathe, you gotta say. And you will just see that thing in my life. Money from the money, I'm the money from the mind. This is how you breathe, you gotta say. Give me a one shot. When you need your men's and you're not done to somebody, but if you can't figure out so fast out it. Hold on! General! Hold on! Good night, my ladies! Let me fix my microphone, because this is the first time I've been in Cayman. And I love it! Can you tell me the name of Vybz Kartel Steve? We don't want to know that. Ladies and gentlemen.
Morning thoughts, morning thoughts, morning thoughts. Shout out to the people going out to work this morning. Shout out to the people coming in from work this morning. Extra special big up shout out to the people who work multiple jobs. I have the utmost respect for you. Shout out to my entrepreneurs, my stay-at-home moms and pops, my retirees. Shout out to the drivers. Shout out to the Uber drivers, Lyft driver, truck driver, taxi driver, food delivery drivers, round town and long distance truck drivers. Shout out to the crossing guards, school teachers, law enforcement personnel, medical field personnel, military personnel. Whatever your job description is, shout out to you. Extra special shout out to the people who wish good for others as much as you wish good for yourself. Here we are on this beautiful Tuesday morning. Today is the 2nd of June 2026 and we're happy to be here. We're here, right? We got a lot to talk about this morning, and this is not going to be a 3-4 hour live. This is probably going to be about an hour to an hour and a little bit longer kind of live, because we have a lot of topics to cover, right? So without further ado, let's get right into the topics that we're going to cover, just so everybody knows what you're staying for. So Vybz Kartel's album is about to be released, God and Time, and there is one collaboration on that album that I am super psyched about. We're going to talk about the album in a minute. We're also going to talk about his recent show in the Cayman Islands and what critics had to say versus what we saw on video and on the ground, right? Alright, then we're going to talk about Kerry McLeod, another Jamaican top athlete who has been banned for years for under anti-doping regulations. Yeah, it doesn't look too good. And then we're going to talk about South Carolina. A South Carolina jury found a store owner, an Asian store owner, not guilty of murder in the killing of a black teen. I followed this case all the way through. Because I didn't want to be somebody who was prejudging or somebody who was just going off of. There are a lot of people who follow these cases and they don't follow the case detail for detail. They basically go off of, I see a white person got killed and the person who is accused of the killing is a black person. So since I'm white, then I'm saying that the black person who is accused must go to prison. I'm not looking at the details. Follow? Right. Which brings me to another case that we're going to talk a bit about this morning, and that's the Karmelo Anthony case, which is gearing up right now as they are selecting jury members to take this case to trial. Karmelo Anthony's case is a case, again, involving the dynamics of a black person and a white person. The white person is the person who ended up dead. The black person is the person who is now accused of murder and must go to court and have a jury acquit them or convict them of murder. I followed this case to the detail. We're going to talk about that one as well. Riding on the heels of the case where the Asian store owner shot and killed the young black teenager, being found not guilty, and now this Karmelo Anthony case. I got a lot to say in this area this morning, right? And then, another story of another American or American citizen who is vacationing in Jamaica who got murdered. But you might want to stick around for the details of this one again, all right? The Jamaican, the murder in Jamaica part. Anyways, let's get right into it. And since this is what we call a premiere, I can't ask you where do I start, so I will start where I start. So let's start from the top of the list. Let's keep it light and airy, and then we'll go on down the list. First thing on my list this morning was Vybz Kartel album God and Time, drops June 5th. The album was available for pre-order from about a week ago. You could have, if you're really a supporter, a fan, you could have pre-ordered the album. Like I was saying yesterday, it's embarrassing when our biggest names in our genre of music put albums out. And when they put the albums out, the numbers that the albums do are so embarrassing, like on a world stage, right? Jamaican people, one thing about them is they'll get on social media and they be very vocal about the way how they support their favorite artists. And they'll tell you all kinds of stuff about yourself. F you, I'm going to do this to you and I'm going to do that to you. Suck your mother. Right? All that energy towards defending or towards showing this support for their favorite artist. And then the artist drops an album project and they won't even go and purchase a copy to make the damn artist look good. I don't understand it. And then of course there are those who, they'll do the opposite. They'll make sure they don't purchase a copy just so they can laugh at a certain artist. Oh, your album flopped, your album flopped. I want to tell Jamaicans something, especially Jamaicans, because you have a lot of buying power. There are more Jamaicans outside of Jamaica than there are in Jamaica. That is uniquely Jamaican. I think we're the only country where we have more citizens outside of our country than we do inside the actual country. And we spend a whole lot of money. Jamaica's remittance money, which is money that Jamaicans send back to Jamaica annually to help their family members who are back home. You know, mama pay for your doctor bill and make sure daddy take care of and send down them 2 barrel here, make sure the liquor pick them get to go school and share this up with the community and send this to go give that person and send that to that person. These sending back of monies that are done, it rivals the tourism industry money that Jamaica makes annually. And if you know anything about how they look at the money that Jamaica earns, Jamaica's tourism industry is considered its #1 earner. But we've done this before where we came to the conclusion that the #1 earner for Jamaica is actually remittance money coming from Jamaicans who live outside of Jamaica. And I know you're going to say, well, why is it not the tourism money, SouFLo? It's not the tourism money because majority of the tourism money that's made leaves the country. Majority and all of the money that's made from remittance stays in the country because we're already outside the country sending the money in. Those who are making money in the tourism industry, most of the stuff is not owned by Jamaicans. So after they pay their employees these menial salaries and whatnot, pay their overhead costs for electricity and whatever else, bills, supplies, the rest of their money goes outside of the country to wherever they live to pay for their lifestyle there and their investments and whatever they have going on there. So the #1 earner is us for Jamaica. So it's not that we're broke people. When our artists, big artists, put projects out, there should be no reason why we shouldn't see 1 million albums sold, 500,000. You know those big artists who they would say stuff like, Drake's dropping an album this week and it's expected to do 360,000 first week. We could do the same numbers. We could do the same numbers if we support our own. But we're not known for supporting our own to that level. We support a lot with mouth, but we don't support a lot more with dollars and cents, which is where it actually counts. And it don't cost you nothing. Some like a small change for one album, right? Just so we, Jamaica, could look good on the world stage. Anyways, Vybz Kartel's album God and Time drops June 5th. Today is June 2nd. That's only a couple of days away. I cannot wait to hear this album because I'm looking at the lineup, the collaboration, and the collaboration that I am seeing that is surprising for me is Mavado Gully Gad on Vybz Kartel's album. People, y'all gotta understand, this is a major album. Vybz Kartel was missing for 13 years behind bars, fighting a wrongful conviction, fighting for his freedom, right? And he got it after doing 13 years. Now in the 13 years, he managed to stay afloat. He managed to still run off the genre from behind bars. Don't ask me how he did it. I don't think even he knew how he did it, but that's another proof to his staying power, right? And his level of influence. See him now. You see what he's doing now. He's doing it bigger than any of the other artists in his genre or any Jamaican artists for that matter. Now, with that said, seeing Mavado, I'm still wondering if somebody made this AI thing up, but I saw it in places where these are trusted sources when it comes to Vybz Kartel's content. So, Mavado being on the album, I can't wait to hear what the hell Mavado did on the album. Mavado and Vybz Kartel on one track on Vybz Kartel's album, that's personal. Don't forget though, if you're a real Vybz Kartel fan, you're going to know that Vybz Kartel had a rhythm out and Mavado was already on that rhythm. Not only that, also Mavado and Vybz Kartel had worked together already with DJ Khaled on a big project before that also had Bounty Killer on that project as well, where they did the song and video. This ain't the first time they've linked up. They've literally linked up in person. Remember when I was telling y'all, say, all this time, a lot of us were thinking, me nah support Mavado, me nah listen to him music because of Gaza, me say. I've never been one of those people. I love music, and I support all our artists them. If it comes to wartime, I'm going to choose a side. And if you're warring with Vybz Kartel because the way how Kartel skills still, and then he is my favorite artist, I'm going to say, boy, rightfully so. You choose the winning team, right? So I'm going to choose the Gaza side. But once the war thing goes off, Mavado drop a hot track, I'm on it. Kartel drop a hot track, I'm on it. There's no division. See? But there were people out here who are divided to the point where they're like, them don't want to hear nothing from Kartel, or them don't want to hear nothing from this person or that person or Mavado or whoever, because it might diss my favorite artist or whatever the case may be. To see them now working together. Remember, I said, ain't that funny? When Kartel beat up with Mavado over DJ Khaled place when him first got released and first flew into the United States of America, and he was talking to Mavado on camera, and he must say, I'm a brother this, and I was like, what? A lot of other people were like, wait, I was expecting for Kartel to get free and Mavado and Kartel to go right at it. Lyrical confrontation, war. Yeah, pussy me there, road, I wait for you come out and these kind of things. It wasn't that. It was on another level now. And I'm like, yeah, that's where our strength really is, really. You know? The Gully Gad or something there, that's something that could be packaged and sold now. So Mavado and Kartel, that's another piece of money in the bank for them, because they can literally package the Gully Gad or something and travel around the world delivering that, which I believe they're going to be doing at Sumfest this year in Jamaica, and they're also going to be doing it somewhere over in Europe as well. You see what I'm saying? So I'm excited for this album, God and Time, and I specifically want to hear what track Mavado is on and what that song sound like with Mavado and Vybz Kartel on the same song. What kind of song it's going to be. Mavado with theme melodies, Kartel with theme lyrical prowess. So we are looking out for the album, people. Alright? We're looking out for the album. The name of the album is God and Time. But let's talk about the show that recently happened over in the Cayman Islands. You know, people wicked, you know. People wicked. Me there watch certain people on social media and they're lying. You don't have to bring down one person to big up another person. Spragga Benz and friends had a show with Beanie Man, and you know, some Marleys were there, and it's a big exciting show in Miramar, something Kingston show, right? I think it was a celebration of basically Spragga Ben's birthday and whatever else, collaboration. Anyway, the place was packed, the vibes was nice. But in the comment section, instead of just big up the show, I saw people saying stuff like, the one Vybz Kartel missing from this. Kartel should be there, he's missing from this. I see another person say, yeah, he's missing because he's over in the Cayman Islands boring the people to death. And I actually tagged that person in a clip of the actual show in the Cayman Islands, how the crowd was going on. You call that a forward. The crowd did sing every word of the song, and it looks like the majority of the crowd was very much engaged in World Boss presence in the Cayman Islands, right? I see them run down him car upon the street. I see him stop, and he talk to some people, his women, of course, and them want him sign things and real celebrity-like treatment. But the show itself was super energetic. And yet still you have somebody willing to say he's over there boring the Cayman people to death. That's crazy. That's crazy. I encourage you to look at the show and to see that it was far from that. But you know, people are going to talk regardless. And why people like all Vybz Kartel them, it comes with the territory, you know. You have 1 million fans, you probably have 500,000 haters along with that 1 million real fans that you have. You have 10 million fans, you probably have 250,000. You have 10 million fans, you have about 2.5 million haters, right? Let's be realistic. You're probably even half of that. 5 million haters and 10 million fans. So it comes with the territory, and not everybody are gonna like you, and that's cool. That's cool. Moving right along though. Don't forget, the 5th of June, the album drops, God and Time. And we will definitely be doing a full review of each track on that album. But like I said, I know about the Shenseea collaborations, I know about Skillibeng are gonna dip on the album, some other people are gonna dip on the album. But the one that I am excited about is the Mavado collaboration, because Mavado and Vybz Kartel are two columns in dancehall, and their history is documented, storied. So to see Vado on Kartel album, I'm rushing straight to that track. Straight to that track there, to see what go on this. Alright? With that one off the board, we move forward where we're going to talk now about Kerry McLeod. Kerry McLeod, a Jamaican athlete who now has been banned under anti-doping regulations. Seeing? Kerry McLeod has been banned for 2 years. 2 years. You know, say I know him, he's not the first one, you know. There's another Jamaican athlete who recently, I believe it was Christopher something his name was, I don't want to say the wrong name, but he kept missing his appointments. So, as a professional athlete, by the World Athletic Organization, you basically sign an agreement where you say you are up to be tested at any time. So any which part them see you, them can schedule it for testing. You could be going through the airport saying you're leaving Miami and you're heading, I'm flying into Zurich this weekend, and then book you at the airport and them say, hey, we want a test, right? Two-time national men's long jump champion Kerry McLeod has been banned now for 2 years. He is the two-time national men's long jump champion. He's now banned for 2 years by the World Athletics Integrity Unit, or they are called the AIU. He's banned for what's called whereabout violations. Now, I'm going to tell you something about whereabout violations. Whereabout violations is basically, if in the agreement it says if you fail to show up, if you fail to show up 3 times, I think it's 3. If you fail to show up 3 times in a row within a certain time period of them trying to get to you to test you, they will just automatically assume that you're dodging them, and you're probably dodging because you're doping. And at this moment, you haven't gotten the doping out of your system yet, so you would rather dodge them and take the whereabouts violation instead of to actually show up and piss and pop hot. We call it popping hot in the army. So if you take a piss test and you pop hot, simply means there's dope in your system, right? They do that to us in the military. They'll give you a 4-day weekend, 5-day weekend, you're off a 5 days straight. Soldiers don't know what to do with themselves. We jump on a Mac flight, we gone to Amsterdam, we're over in Italy, we're in London for the weekend. We travel some places, and while we're there, we're not in uniform, so we party like mad people, right? And enjoy ourselves, and then we come back. Some soldiers get out of control. They do a bit of snorting, they do a bit of popping a couple of ecstasy pills, or they do a bit of roll up and smoke something. Guess what? It's in your system. So when you come back and it's time to report, they will do a surprise drug test. The night before you're supposed to show up for formation, which would be the end of, Or it'll be formation morning and you're walking in thinking everything is all good. You will hear somebody say, change into your PT uniform. Everybody, you have 10 minutes to be in the company holding area. And you're like, what the hell is going on? PT uniform, 10 minutes in the company holding area. They lock you in the area. Once you go in, you can't come out. All you have is your ID and you're in there and you sit there crowded in until you piss. So you piss and whatever comes up out of your piss, consequences come with it. Clean piss test or not. Somebody will be right there too to look at your penis and watch you pee. We call them cock gazers. So it will be a soldier that you know too. And you're like, damn, Sergeant Mac, you gotta be staring at my dick like that? And Sergeant Mac is like, shut the fuck up and piss and get out of the way so somebody else could go, you know? But that's how we be. And they test us like that. I'm thinking these athletes have now decided that to take a whereabouts violation is better. Because you can argue with people when they say, oh, you were banned for doping. You can say, I wasn't banned for doping. I was banned because of the whereabouts violation. Like, it took too long for them to get to me, or it took too long for me to get to them, or we could not coordinate a way for us to meet because I was on the other side of the world doing something else. Whatever the case may be, you can say whatever you want to say, but you did not show up and piss hot. Which, in my book, honestly, and this goes for any athlete, not just a Jamaican athlete, not just this particular athlete, Kerry McLeod, or any other. This goes for American athlete, Chinese athlete, wherever you're from in the world. If you are taking a whereabouts violation, my suspicions are super high that you are probably doping. I'm thinking you're doping. So, again, the two-time national men's long jump champion, Kerry McLeod, has been banned now for 2 years by the World Athletic Integrity Unit for a whereabouts violation, and it was reported on Monday, which was yesterday. Today is Tuesday. McLeod, who was a bronze medalist at the World Athletics Indoor Championships in 2024 in China, he was reported to have admitted the anti-doping rule violation and accepted the sanction after missing 3 tests in a 12-month period. He missed 3 tests in a 12 months. That's ample amount of time. So athletes are obligated to make themselves available for random testing, but 3 failures in a 12-month period usually results in harsh sanction. Reports are that he missed testing on June 30th of 2025. He missed testing on August 9th of 2025. He missed testing on May 1st of 2026. And his period of eligibility runs from May 28th of 2026 to May 27th of 2028. Within this period of time, he will not be able to compete anywhere from May 28th of 2026 to May 27th of 2028. Anyways, I'll just put that out there. Good luck to him. I'm suspicious. You know, for a long time they kept on saying that the Jamaicans are doping. The Jamaicans are doping because ain't no way that they be sweeping 100 meters like that, a small island like that. They don't have the best technology when it comes to training facilities and experts and all these other stuff, injury recovery experts, all this stuff. So they must have an advantage using something that nobody has figured out yet. And as a Jamaican, you want to prove to the world, say, a yam and dasheen and breadfruit and cocoa and banana. And, well, one athlete came out the other day to say that, nah, it's KFC chicken and fried chicken is our thing. Fast food, burgers and fries is our thing. You want to say it's genetics as a Jamaican. You don't want to say we're doping because you don't want the world to look at a dominant athletic or athletically dominant island as an island of dopers. We're lickling up. So anytime that doping something that start fall on too many of our athletes, they're going to automatically they're going to pull Usain Bolt's name back in there, even though they can't. They will. To say, he was probably doping too. We just weren't able to catch them because we don't know what the hell they were using. I've heard one person say in the professional athletic world, they're all doping. It's all about getting on a good doping program and finding the right stuff that goes into your system quickly, does work, and gets out of your system quickly enough for when you are randomly tested, it cannot show up. I don't think our athletes, majority of our Jamaican athletes are doping, but, you know, you win too many times, they start saying something. Now it's up to us to make sure that none of us end up on the list of being banned, because then we start to give some validity to what they are saying, the accusations. Know what I mean? Right. Alright, with that said, moving right along. The next one on the list is, there's a story here about a person who is arrested by ICE because he came into the country, into the United States of America, and he filed asylum. And he filed asylum as a Batman, as a homosexual, as a fish, as a gay, as somebody who is under persecution from his own country because he is a man that is into men. Quite a few Jamaicans have ran off out of Jamaica and have filed asylum, not only in the United States of America, but in the UK and in Canada, under that banner right there. Save me, please. I'm gay. I'm openly gay. I'm flamboyantly gay. And they trying to kill me in Jamaica because Jamaica is not gay friendly. And they ended up getting their stay in Canada, in the UK, in the USA. Well, here's a story. Donald Trump's administration is not playing with you right now. Remember, we just did a video where we said that they are actually backtracking on almost everybody because his goal is to denaturalize a lot of naturalized citizens. Naturalized citizens are people like myself who were not born here. We came here, we had a green card at one point, and then we went from a green card to citizenship, right? So that's a naturalized citizen. They want to take away citizenship from a lot of naturalized citizens. So they're going back. He has assembled a specific team of people to go back many years and to rehash people's paperwork. Let's see if somebody told a lie somewhere in here that got them approved for the green card in the first place and then they got citizenship, or that got them approved for citizenship while they were green card holders. Let's see if you lied on your taxes as a green card holder and then you, of course, lied when it was time for you to get your citizenship because they would have asked you, have you ever committed any frauds? And you would have said no. So you lied. That kind of stuff. That's what they're digging for right now. In this particular case, they're going back and looking at people's marriages. And they're looking at people's reasons for why they filed for asylum in the first place. If your marriage looked like it was a fake marriage, you're probably going to be one of the people who end up losing your citizenship and being denaturalized and being deported. Under this particular story now, federal officials on Sunday revealed to Fox News Digital that immigration agents arrested a suspected illegal immigrant who allegedly entered the United States of America under a fraudulent asylum claim before later becoming employed as a taxpayer-funded corrections officer in Portland, Indiana. So this individual came to the country, got through, said he was filing for asylum because he's gay in his country and they're trying to kill him because he's gay. He wants to come to the United States of America where he could live happily, right? And they let him in. And he made good. And he became a corrections officer at one of these institutions. The detainee identified as Sila Dine Habib. Seladine Habib, a native of Mauritania in Northwest Africa, he was arrested on May 21st after being released into the U.S. under the Biden administration around 2023, according to the Department of Homeland Security. Habib, listen to this. Habib had claimed that he was a homosexual on a pending asylum application. Now, mind you, the asylum line is long. A lot of people been waiting years for their asylum case to be heard, right? So the line is long. It's backlogged, a long line. So from 2023 to now, he's been waiting. Now that they've called his case to the front of the line, they're like, what's Habib been doing all these years from 2023 till now? It is alleged that investigators later discovered that he, after entering the United States of America, actually got married to a woman after entering the country. And he was off living a heterosexual life. So he came in as a Batman, and now he's married to a woman living a heterosexual life. Talking about having children, you know, being daddy of the house, etc., etc. You can't switch up that quick when you came in saying that you are flamboyantly gay, openly homosexual, and you're having to run for your life because of this choice. You understand? Right. So according to local outlet WIBC, which first reported the case, the woman was the daughter of the county sheriff, whose office later employed Habib as a correctional officer at the county jail. Habib bright. Habib had high aspirations. He went and got with the woman was the daughter of the county sheriff. He went and got married to the county sheriff's daughter. And because he is now the son-in-law of the sheriff of the county, they hired him as a correctional officer. He entered the country illegally in March of 2023 near the Lukeville, Arizona border and was released into the country by the Biden administration. Honestly, he didn't enter the country illegally. Under the Trump administration, Donald Trump said from day one, everybody who entered the country under Biden is considered illegal to him. So they will say stuff like these people are illegal, but they entered under legal guidelines when there was a president who approved it. So because you don't like that president and you are now wording it different, didn't make his entry illegal, right? He entered when there were a lot of other people were being allowed to enter. He entered under that asylum seeking headline and running for his life because, you know, again, openly gay and flamboyant, and they're trying to kill him in his country where he's from. Well, he went on to become a corrections officer. He went on to become the husband of the sheriff of the county's wife, daughter, her husband, son-in-law to the sheriff of the county. Now, ICE went and picked him up, and he is now in ICE custody pending removal from the United States of America. His pending asylum application is believed to be fraudulent because he applied on the basis of him being openly homosexual in 2023, but he got married to a woman in 2025. According to WIBC, Habib joined the J County Jail as a correctional officer after marrying the sheriff's daughter in 2025, making him the sheriff's stepson-in-law. It's the sheriff's son-in-law. I don't know why they put step in there. J County Sheriff Larry Ray Newton confirmed Habib's employment to the outlet, saying he serves as an unarmed correctional officer after presenting employment authorization documents that cleared the hiring process, so they did not hire somebody illegally. And according to the county officials cited by WIBC, Habib also passed the federal E-Verify employment authorization check during onboarding or during his time being hired. So I am able to confirm that Mr. Habib submitted a I-9 with documentation and a E-Verify check, which completed at the time of employment, and he passed. The J County Auditor Office told the outlet. The report came back as employment authorized. So we did nothing wrong. Department are responsible for completing any reference checks, background checks, drug tests, etc. before submitting new employees to the office. The sheriff would be able to speak to the standard practices completed in his office, he said. Now, as far as Habib goes, he's currently being held at the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, at the Clay County Jail Detention Facility in Brazil, Indiana. And he is currently contesting his final deportation order from the United States. So he's going to fight it. But it's going to be very hard for him to fight it when you came into the country and they asked you, why are you running here and why you want to stay? And you said, please help me because I am a Batman. I am gay. I like men's. I don't like women's. And they's trying to kill me in my country because I like booty of men's. And they said, okay, come on in. We're going to save you. And you came in and then you married a woman. You will not be allowed to stay. You will not be allowed to stay. I mean, somebody could argue that, right? Somebody could argue that and said, well, maybe he was gender fluid. Maybe he was into women and men. And he fell in love with a woman. Maybe he identified as non-binary. I learned about that non-binary stuff, by the way, from that Jamaican singer. The one, Dalton Harris, who did sit down on the man lap and both the killer them did burn him out after. No, Dalton, me take back all my support. We not do that. That is not Jamaican. Man not sit down pan no man lap round ya. That Dalton eventually came out saying, was it non-binary? I don't remember what. I see one blue flag with like the rainbow in it and one thing. They have so many different flags and so many different names for that community and the community members. I don't really keep up with the names, but he could probably still win his case though. If he get a good attorney who's able to say he's non-binary. The guy likes what he likes. He's not really into a person per se. What them say? They said they're in love with the spirit of a human. And then whatever happens after that, happens after that. That means if you're a man, today you might love another man. And you look like a gay man, right? Because he's a man loving a man. But then the next, you might end up being in love with a woman because her spirit connects with yours. And isn't that bisexual though? So why go with non-binary? I don't know, and I'm not trying to explain it no further than that. Alright? Word of the day is this. Message of the day is this. Make sure your affairs are in order. Because the Trump administration is cracking their whip very hard. And if you lied on any of your applications, you better make sure your story is straight. Because you stand to lose your papers. You stand to be placed in confinement and probably denaturalized. If you haven't been watching our videos about the denaturalization agenda, it is a very real agenda under the Trump administration, and his plan is to denaturalize as many citizens as possible. Denaturalization go for people like me and you. Alright? Just to keep you up to date. It's happening. Here's a case of it happening. It's happening. Moving on to the next one. The next topic we have on the board this morning is that this case right here is crazy. I look at this as another Trayvon Martin case all over again. Trayvon Martin all over again. You know, this teenager went into a store. Long story short, right? He went into a store. I saw the videos. That's why I followed the entire case, because I wanted to not be one of the misinformed people and just be spewing stuff based on emotions. So I watched the case. During the trial, they played videos of what happened inside of this store. Chinese people own a store. A young black teenager walks into the store. He walks in the store, he's moving about the store. They're following him around the store, right? I don't know if you ever seen that movie where they were like, I believe it was Lawrence Tate that played O-Dog in the movie, and he was like to the Chinese, "What you said about my mama?" And he turned around and he blasted him, right? Because they were watching him around the store like he wasn't going to pay for what he was picking up. And he picked up a 40. The video that was showed in the courtroom, that video actually showed them following this teenager around the store, hiding behind stuff and watching him, right? He just came into the store to pick up, like, I don't know, Skittles and a small drink or something. I don't know. At some point he realized, apparently, that he was being watched while he was in the store or something. I don't think he bought anything. He left the store. Probably left the store saying, "Damn, if y'all gonna treat me like this, I come here all the time and buy stuff, but you treat me like I'm a criminal, like I'm about to steal stuff. Let me go spend my money at another store down the street." So he leaves the store. As he leaves the store, he is followed by the store owner. The store owner has a gun in hand. Now, long story short, the store owner follows this young black teenager 100 and something yards, shoots him in the back, kills him. He's arrested, he's on trial, and just yesterday, a jury in South Carolina found that Asian store owner not guilty of killing that black teenager. He shot him down. So the story goes like this. A South Carolina jury on Monday found a store owner not guilty of murder in the 2023 shooting death of a black 14-year-old teenager. He was only 14. The jury returned the verdict for Chike Rich Chow. Chow is a 61-year-old Asian man. He shot Cyrus Carmack Belton, the 14-year-old black teenager, in his back after chasing him from his convenience store in Colombia, but he maintained that he acted in defense of his son, his own son. The killing sent shockwaves of anguish and grief throughout the African-American community. So where they're at, nearly half the population there is black. And if you know anything about our relationship as a black community with Asians, they always have stores in black communities. Always. But we could talk about that on a whole nother video, right? So after the verdict was read, sobs and cries of distress could be heard coming from the Carmack Belton's family seated in the gallery because they got no justice. Chow, the Chinese or Asian man, sat silently, frozen, before slowly bowing his head onto his interlocked hands. See, when he heard the verdict, even he himself and his attorneys were shocked. Go and watch the video of when the verdict was read. His attorney was like, if your attorney knows you have a strong case and they know that you're likely to win your case, they don't react like, they couldn't believe. The jury came back and said not guilty. Prosecutor and a defense lawyer in closing arguments, they painted very different pictures, of course, of the 2023 shooting. Prosecutor said that Chow acted in anger because he wrongfully thought that the teenager had stolen 4 bottles of water from his store. Now, let me say something, right? If you followed this story on social media, you will see this is where white racist people jump into the comment section alongside racist Asian people, and they'll leave comments that say, good, he should have never robbed the store in the first place. Let me just clear that up, that it was proven in court that that 14-year-old boy did not steal anything from that store. Chow the Asian man who owns the store, ran after that young boy, and the young boy got scared because Chow had a gun in his hand and he ran. The little boy was already in there. It was situational awareness. So he's in the store. He realized he's being watched. He's like, you know what? Let me leave the store. He's leaving the store. He realized he's being followed by somebody with a gun in their hand. He runs for his life. I'm sure he's thinking Trayvon Martin. He's running. And as he's running, this man runs him down and shoots him in his back. In his back. Now, let's say he actually did steal 4 bottles of water. Because that's what he thought he stole when he killed him. Are you supposed to be able to kill somebody for 4 bottles of water? So he shot him in his back because he thought he stole 4 bottles of water. So racist people will use this to, I don't care what the hell he stole. He shouldn't have been stealing shit. And even I would have said, you know what? You should have never went into people's store and took anything, because then that gave them a right to do whatever they did to you. And had you not done that, you wouldn't have been in that type of altercation with them. But the little boy stole nothing. Nothing. He ran after him because he thought he was stealing 4 bottles of water and shot him dead. In his back as he was fleeing. Now the story gets a bit twisted right here. A defense lawyer said that Chow fired in defense of his son only after the 14-year-old that they were chasing turned around and pointed a gun at them. Now this is where shit gets fucked up. So this case is not about a shoplifter, he said. This case is about a father who sees a gun pointed at his son and he had to make a decision. Now, if he was pointing a gun at you, how did you end up shooting him in his back as self-defense? Defense attorney Sean Kent told jury during closing arguments that the defense attorney said Andy Chow testified that Carmack Belton pointed a gun at him. This is a concocted story by Chow and his attorneys. They know that little boy didn't point no gun. But this is where that little boy could not save himself. Prosecutors acknowledged that Carmack Belton, the young boy, the 14-year-old, prosecutors acknowledged that he had a semi-automatic pistol. The young boy did have a gun. He's 14 with a gun. But they say he never held the gun and pointed the gun at anybody. As he was running away, the gun fell to the ground during them chasing him. And he never threatened anybody with that gun. So because he had a gun and because the gun fell while he was running away, they were able to use that to say he had a gun. Now you cannot prove 130 yards away from the store if he actually pointed the gun or not, right? It's his gun. You're going to find his fingerprint on it. But there's no cameras or anything that says contrary to what Chow's defense is. He pointed the gun at my son, I fired, and he ended up getting shot. I was defending my son. Did he have a gun? The answer is yes. So prosecutors acknowledge that he did have a gun. They say he didn't use it to intimidate anybody. And prosecutors said that Chow chased the teenager more than 130 yards away from the store. 4 bottles of water. Is it worth chasing somebody away from the store 130 yards for 4 bottles of water? If that's what you thought they stole, right? Personally, as a store owner, I would not have chased somebody. I would have thought to myself, what if I chase him down the street away from my cameras and he ends up turning around and shooting me and I'm dead for 4 bottles of water? I'll just remember his face and make sure he never comes in here again. How about that? So Solicitor Byron E. Gibson, he told jurors that Chow chased the kid all the way down the street, over 130 yards, and shot him in his back. During closing arguments, Gibson placed a bottle of water before the jurors. Gibson said that Chow, at the end of the day, believed that a human life is not worth more than this bottle of water right here. Gibson said multiple witnesses testified that they didn't see anything in the little boy's hands, and they didn't see him point any gun as he ran out of the store. Nobody testified that happened that doesn't have the last name Chow. Gibson said nobody testified that happened that doesn't have the last name Chow. I don't know what the hell that means. I read it twice. It don't make no sense. So the fatal shooting prompted vigils and protests outside of the store. Empty bottles of water were arranged to spell out the word Cyrus, which is his name, at one of the vigils. Remember, this happened back in 2023. We're in 2026, where the verdict is being handed down. This Chinese or Asian man, he gets to go home now. His record is now clear. He owes the system nothing. And Cyrus, his family, got no justice because an Asian store owner in a black community thought he deserved to die for 4 bottles of water. You know, this is a jury trial. And the thing about this jury trial is that Asian man, he can brag now because he can say, I took it to trial and I beat it before a jury of my peers. 12 persons sat and deliberated and came up with a not guilty for me. They thought I was not guilty. And now I'm free. Your child did something wrong, and that's why he's dead. I have to think very, very hard about what I'm saying, because I don't want anybody to say I'm inciting violence or anything. But black life is cheap. Black life is cheap. If that teenager was a white teenager, that Asian store owner would have been found guilty of murder. Do you know that in a lot of places, if somebody robs you and they're running away from you and you chase them down and shoot them in their back, that you are committing a murder under law? But I understand what Chow's lawyer did. He had to introduce that moment of Chow's life was in imminent danger. So the gun fell out. And that was an opportunity for them to say, boom, he got a gun. Okay, he pointed the gun. Let's put that element in there. He pointed the gun. And you were in danger instantly. So you fired because you didn't want him to shoot my son. Apparently it was Chow and his son who were chasing the 14-year-old down the street. So now the jury, his lawyer is like, at that moment, this wasn't a store owner defending 4 bottles of water. This was a father who saw his son standing in front of a gun of somebody who they had thought shoplifted from their store, and he was about to fire. So we fired instead to save my son. You see? So they put that urgency in it. Because that's the only way you can actually use your licensed firearm legally. Your life must be in imminent danger. And whatever it is you perceived that person was about to do to you, you thought you were going to die, or you thought you would be maimed permanently. That's what the law says. And that is the only time you can legally use your firearm and get away with it. So how did him running away and them chasing him for over 130 yards away from their store with nothing in his hands, Because they sure as hell didn't see 4 bottles of water in his hands, and none was found at the scene, right? And it was established that he did not take anything by their own video cameras from their own store. Black people got to get it back in blood. That's the only justice that's out there for you. Now, this is serious, right? Because this is the part where a lot of people will say stuff like, well, if that's my son, somebody got to pay. Their family got to cry like my family cried. His son, I want his son for my son. I don't have no son no more, so Chow won't have no son no more either. That's the only justice you're going to get. Now, I'm not telling anybody to go kill Chow's son. I'm saying, because a lot of people say this, and then when it happens, they don't do a damn thing about it, right? But I'm saying, maybe if this is how black people responded, that we would have situations like these happen less and less and less. Because this ain't nothing but another Trayvon Martin situation right here. Trayvon Martin didn't do a damn thing to George Zimmerman. George Zimmerman saw Trayvon Martin walking through his community, his upscale gated community, which Trayvon Martin's dad lives in. Trayvon was not from the community. His parents are divorced, but he went to go spend the weekend with his father. So as he enters the premises, George Zimmerman is there, and he's like, oh, I see a black dude in a hoodie. Look like he's probably going to be breaking into one of these apartments or these condos around here, so I'm going to follow him. Remember when George Zimmerman made that phone call to 911 and said he has a suspect in his sights and he's following him? Remember what the 911 dispatcher said to him? She said, sir, leave the individual alone. We have units on the way. They'll be there shortly. He started telling the 911 dispatcher, I'm about to go around the other side and cut him off. She repeated, sir, stay away from the individual. We have officers dispatched on the way. They should be there shortly. Next thing you heard, I got him. He's right here. He disregarded every friggin' stand down, don't go near him, the police will deal with it. And remember, Trayvon was on the phone with somebody because he knew he was in danger, and he kept saying to the girl, yo, this man following me, yo. He following me around and I don't know who he is. It was drizzling, raining, and the kid put his hoodie up. Because that's what your hoodie is for, right? And he died with his bottle of whatever drink he had and his pack of Skittles in his hand. George Zimmerman shot him to death. Only to find out it was a teenager who was there to visit his dad. Trayvon Martin didn't have no weapons on him or nothing. This teenager fucked up because he had a gun on him. Or is that what they said? Y'all gotta get that back in blood. That's the only that's the only justice you're gonna get. Because the jury already said he didn't do anything. And you know what the crazy part is? The crazy part is people like Chow, they will go open up that same store in that same predominantly black community, and black people will go to that shit like nothing happened. And they'll go shopping there, and they'll spend their money there, and they'll buy everything in the damn store like nothing happened. Like he didn't kill a little black boy at 14 years old because he thought he stole 4 bottles of water. This is the reason why I say black people don't have that unity that is required to shut anything down. We're going to leave that one right there where it's at. We're approaching the end. Let's talk about the Karmelo Anthony murder trial. The Karmelo Anthony murder trial is beginning. It's on its way. This is, in a nutshell, for short attention span people. A black kid went to a meet, football game, track meet, whatever. A meet was happening. And you know, at these meets, they have you have your individual tents set up. So, you know, your pop-up tent. You buy them at Walmart. You get your own tent. You put your tent up to shield you from the sun or the rain or whatever the case may be while you enjoy the activities that are happening. Well, the little black kid didn't have a tent of his own. According to the story, it started raining heavily, so he ran under somebody's tent. My children play football. I've been to football games where everybody brought their own tent. I've been to football games where we set up our tents and it started raining and somebody might be trying to get around the venue and they just pull in under your tent for a second, trying to outwait the rain, and then they'll go about their business. You don't get mad and tell people, get the fuck from under my tent, or get out, or I don't want you here. People pull under your tent that don't even know you. It's common human decency to say, you good. Because you know when the rain is done, the person is going to move from under your tent, right? So according to the story as it goes, Karmelo Anthony went under a tent, but that tent happened to belong to people who were with. And of course, here we go with the black-white factor. Karmelo Anthony is black. The tent he went under belonged to white people. There was a white dude there who felt like he shouldn't be under the tent, so he pushed him. Get out from under our tent. Karmelo told him, don't touch me. Don't put your hands on me. He starts wrestling him to get him out from under the tent, because he's going to beat him up, right? Get this nigga out from under our tent. Well, as the story goes, the young black kid who was 17 years old at the time, Karmelo Anthony, who is now 19 going to trial, he introduced a knife, and he used the knife to stab the person who he told, don't put your hands on me. And the person died. Because he put his hands on him after he was told, don't put your hands on me. And now they charge the young teenager for murder. Karmelo Anthony is a Texas teen athlete who was charged with stabbing a football star. You notice they don't even the way how the media tries to bring it across is like Karmelo Anthony is nobody. And the person he killed was worth so much. A football star. You know, if this case comes back where Karmelo Anthony is found to be guilty, I will not be surprised. I won't be surprised because look at what just happened in the case where the Asian store owner chased down the 14-year-old and shot him back in his back and killed him. And they said he's not guilty. Again, black life means nothing. And in this case, you black and you took a white life who they are portraying as some football star with so much potential, and he was so tall and handsome and well built and this, that, and the other. He was about to go off on a D1 scholarship to a major university. He probably could have even made it to the NFL because he was that good. And all potentials were taken away by the actions of this one raggedy ass young black kid. Everybody is asking the question, who brings a knife to a football game or a track meet? I realize that a lot of people who are asking this are people who are living outside of the South. I live in Florida. I was raised in Florida. But I've lived in Texas. And I've been to all other southern states. And one thing I know for common sure is that carrying a knife is commonplace. It doesn't matter if you're at a football game or if you're wherever. I see knives on people's sides all the time. I see it at the grocery store. I see it at the gas station. I see it everywhere. There's always going to be somebody that has a knife attached to them. It's not a crime to carry a knife. There is no law that said there's a crime to carry the knife. So the fact that he had one and he used it to defend himself, that's the way the cookie crumbles. Now, they're more caught up in arms that he was able to get help from his black community. He was being bullied and he defended himself. And what a lot of people are not talking about is he feared for his life. Karmelo Anthony, when I heard them measure Karmelo Anthony and they said he is barely 5 feet tall. I think he's like 4'11". And the Caucasian teenager football, the football star who he stabbed to get him off of him, he was over 6 feet tall and 200 and something, almost 250 pounds. So the media keeps on like not trying to put these pieces of information in it, right? Like he was supposed to stand up there at 4'11", 5 feet tall and square off with a 6'4", 240 something, 30 something pound guy. And then that guy, that 6 feet something football player star, built like a football player star who he had help. His brother was there. And there were other people there who were willing to help him to beat the shit out of Karmelo Anthony. Karmelo Anthony felt the need to defend himself. He said, "Don't put your hands on me." He warned him. And he thought nothing about his warning, so he put his hands on him again and started beating him. There's an eyewitness who was there who went to social media who said, "I was in the tent next to their tent. Little man was getting his ass beat and he defended himself. He told them don't put their hands on him. They started beating his ass." Like what? So now that this case is going to trial, you will find this case divide the nation just like all other cases that involves a black and a white person divides the nation. Black people automatically, he's not guilty. White people automatically send his ass to prison. We got to look at the details of the case though. I personally don't care about the skin color. But as it factors into how the actual case played out, the event played out, I can see how white folks are uniting to make sure that Karmelo Anthony pays. Because you're black and you're not supposed to defend yourself. You're supposed to take an ass whooping like your ancestors did when they used to say, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir, master. No, sir. No, sir. I was not looking at you, sir. I was going to keep my head down, sir." That's what you're supposed to be. Especially in Texas. That's what you're supposed to be as a black person. Take an ass whooping. Take when a white man slapped the shit out of you. You don't fight back. Karmelo Anthony fought back. He defended himself. And sadly, somebody lost their life. The message of the story, the moral of the story is, I don't give a damn what race you are. Keep your damn hands to yourself. Keep your hands to yourself. Period. Once you put your hands on somebody, right? Pop, 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 pop. You don't have any right to say how that person reacts after that. So the crowd's gonna run in and, oh my God, you shot him. He was only punching you. Why did you use a gun? He was only punching you. Why did you stab him? Why did you use a knife? But the real question is, would he have used the knife to defend himself had you not started abusing him, physically abusing him? Karmelo wasn't going around. He's a football player himself. He wasn't going around looking for anybody to stab. He wasn't going around causing trouble. He's not known to be a troubled child. He's a child that does well in school, academically and athletically. He wasn't known for fighting. He wasn't known for somebody who brings trouble to any venue. So the answer to that is, had you not fucked with him, he would have never done anything to you. That's the moral of the story. You know, I feel sorry for the young teenager who died, and I always say this, that teenagers make mistakes. As adults, we can look back and remember when we were teenagers and we're like, damn, I was dumb as hell. But I'm glad I survived it, so now I can look back and laugh at the dumb shit that I did back in the day, right, when I was a teenager. I always hope that teenagers don't make mistakes that are big enough to cost them their lives. And that's what that teenager did. He made a mistake. It was a choice. It was a stupid choice for beating on somebody who was much smaller than he is. And he was probably a racist too, who knows. But he made a choice to beat on somebody who was much smaller than he was. And the person defended themselves because they thought they were going to get beat into unconsciousness. And they defended themselves, which is well within the rights of the law. Will the law work in Karmelo Anthony's favor, though? We wait to see. What do y'all think's going to happen? Do you think he's going to be found guilty because of how the system is? I mean, the black community reached out, man. They helped. They donated over $600,000 because he was getting serious death threats, him and his family. And they had to move. And they'll use the money that was donated to pay for a good defense attorney to help to save his life. Stop ruining that little man, sending him to prison for defending himself. Leave your comments and let's have that conversation going. All right. The last topic on our list this morning that we're going to talk about is the Katie Bradshaw story coming out of Jamaica. Katie Bradshaw story. First of all, let me say condolences to her family. They have not showed her picture yet, but it's another one of those stories. So the first time I saw the story, it said, American citizen murdered in Jamaica while on vacation. And I thought, is this the same story that we covered already from weeks ago, or it happened again? Turns out it happened again. So anytime I see American citizen killed in Jamaica, the first thing I go look at is, one, who killed them? And two, are they Jamaicans that went to America and got naturalized in the US? Because there's a dynamic there to that, right? I always look who did the killing first, because I don't want it to be a story of, damn, some American-born citizen decides to fly to Jamaica for a vacation and somebody randomly kills them for no reason. A robbery or whatever the case may be. Well, as it turns out, all these cases are usually the same. And for the people out there, you got to understand this, right? This is the reason why, although murders happen in Jamaica and it's a lot of murders happening The tourists keep on coming because they realize themselves that these aren't cases of tourist flies into Jamaica, some random Jamaica kills a random tourist for no reason. Oh, it's dangerous there for tourists. That's not the case. The case is usually it is somebody who they are connected to. So, the first one that was printed, it said, a man was found with a baby after allegedly stabbing his wife to death on vacation. That's the headline. A man was found with a baby after allegedly stabbing his wife to death. Then it said a Jamaican-born man. He's an American citizen, but I'm glad that they put it in there that he was Jamaican-born. A Jamaican-born man living in the United States of America has now been arrested following the gruesome stabbing death of his wife at an Airbnb in Hanover late Sunday night. The deceased is 33-year-old woman from Tampa, Florida, who had traveled to Jamaica with her husband and their 2-month-old baby for a vacation. Reports reaching the Star are that residents became alarmed when they started hearing a lot of commotion at 2 a.m. They're up fighting loud after spotting the 36-year-old man walking along the roadway carrying the infant child in his arms. Suspicious of his behavior, they contacted the police. So they already heard them over there fighting. They heard screaming and shouting and suspicious screams that sounded like somebody was getting hurt. And then they saw him leaving and walking the roads with the baby. So they called the police. Lawmen responded, and later they discovered the woman's body at the Airbnb property in Esher with multiple stab wounds. The suspect was then taken into custody and he remains under investigation by the Hanover police. That's all they've revealed so far. Now, the other one that says she has been identified as 33-year-old Katie Bradshaw of Tampa, Florida. She is believed to be a U.S. resident. Meanwhile, her partner, who is believed to be the holder of a United States passport, is currently in police custody for questioning regarding her death. The couple and the young baby, which is believed to be their own, they had been staying in the Bull Bay area of the parish for approximately 1 year. That's not vacation. They moved back to Jamaica. You heard what I just said? The latest update that was printed in the Jamaica Observer said the couple had a young baby, believed to be their own baby, had been staying in the Bull Bay area of the parish for approximately a year at the time of the incident. Both of them are believed to have Jamaican connections. So according to police reports, around 2 a.m. Bradshaw and her partner had an altercation at the home when she was injured. It is further understood that people became concerned and they called the police after seeing him leaving the community with the baby, walking along the main roadway in Lucy with the baby in the pre-dawn hours. You're talking about the 2-3 o'clock hours of the morning, right? I covered that one because somebody said yesterday, SouFLo, you know, here's someone next American get killed in Jamaica again. That's what the outcome is. Apparently, they are Jamaicans. They have not clarified yet if she is a Jamaican. They said she's a U.S. resident. They didn't say a U.S. citizen. But they did say her husband is a Jamaican, but he holds a U.S. passport, which means he is a U.S. citizen. They've been living in Jamaica for a year. That's not vacation. You don't go on vacation and be like, I'm going on vacation for a whole year. Not unless you got money like that. So we're going to stay and wait and see what the outcome to this story is. You know, we talk about this all the time, right? Imagine you're in a relationship that is so fucked up that, pardon my language, that is so messed up that you can't leave, but you know it's bad. How else do you explain people going on vacation together than killing each other? That's somebody you probably should have left a long time ago. You probably would have had a really good vacation if you went without that other person. I don't know. People find it hard to let go. You probably would have had a beautiful vacation, probably met some new people, experienced something new, build memories to talk about for the rest of your life. But you dragged your damn problem with you, and then your vacation turns into a murder mystery. Y'all be careful out there. Relationships are complicated. That's what I know. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Alright? For those of you who listened all the way to the end, we'll stay on top of all these stories that we've covered. We'll stay on top of the story about the Asian store owner. We'll stay on top. I want to see if he goes back to the community and reopens the same store, or if he moves to another black community and opens a store. I'm going to stay on top of the Karmelo Anthony story because I want to see how this story plays out. Is this going to be another one of those? And the KD Bradshaw story, we're going to leave it right here, and until more comes out of Jamaica concerning. But if you're a tourist, don't be alarmed. It's another case of who they know. It's not a case of random tourists being killed. So Jamaica is safe. Definitely safe for tourists. Catch you on the next video. My granny Miss Ruby said, be good. If you can't be good, be careful, but it's best to be good. And my grandfather Mas Cleaver said, I will see you tomorrow, if God spare life. Big up yourself. I'm out. Peace.